get into midweek must-see matches on a Thursday afternoon. What another week it's been in the world of wrestling in terms of all of the awesome matches that have gone down this past week. Most in particularly, the inclusion this week, we didn't really get them included in last week's must-see matches because we did a separate top 10 takes on some of the best matches so far in G1 Climax to kick off the G-Max Climax tournament. But this time around, we are including all of the must-see matches from the G1 this past week as part of midweek must-see matches. So we'll get into it in a second. Gotta give a reminder what we got coming up here. Later on this evening, we will be dropping Retrospective, This Day in Wrestling, July 27th. And I've already done the list, and this is quite a day historically in wrestling. We'll talk about it in just a little bit later on. As well as a special preview rant of everything going on this weekend. I'm going to Chicago for 2 nights of Impact Wrestling. Friday night, Saturday night, Cicero Stadium once again is the location. I have front row ringside again. Basically the same tickets I had last time I went to Impact in April. Exact same seats. How about that? Got them. And I'm hopefully going to get the same seats for Bound for Glory in October as well. The tickets actually, I believe, go on sale right at the stadium this weekend for Impact Wrestling. Now, if you got the package deal with all of the Chicago tapings, you got your tickets early. But if not, the regular on sale, I believe, is like this weekend. So we will see what happens. It's going to be a fun weekend in Chicago, full of Impact Wrestling, full of exclusive content, only you can see right here at Wrestling Rants. So stay tuned for that. Before I leave, we will be doing a special preview rant on all the matches they've announced so far for the Impact taping, and it's a pretty substantial list. Not the full list of everything that's going to be happening on both nights, but there is a decent amount of matches that have come out as of right now, about Thursday afternoon, and we'll talk about it in a separate rant. Looking ahead at the weekend, Impact Wrestling in Chicago. I probably, just to give an update, will not have time to do versus Ring of Honor versus Impact. Unfortunately, this week I think we're going to have to postpone that one for another week, but that will be back. Its regularly slotted time of Fridays coming up next week. Might even be able to get that one in on a Thursday night next week. Looking at the Ring of Honor versus Impact head-to-head versus special rant we do every week. Okay, let's get into it. Must-see matches for the week, July 20th through the 26th. And my goodness, what a freaking week, like I said, it has been. Let's start with last week on the 20th on Thursday. This was a week ago today. There wasn't a whole lot to be said. I did catch up with Impact and Ring of Honor finally after some shifting of things. I finally was able to see those shows. Nothing really caught my attention on the Ring of Honor side as must-see, but one match in particular on the Impact episode last week I thought was pretty good, and that was the team of Chris Bay and Ace Austin against Subculture, Flash Morgan Webster, and who's the other guy? Mark Andrews for the Impact Tag titles. That was the main event of last week's Impact, and I thought, not a bad event at all. Then we get into Friday the 21st, folks, and my God, I thought last Saturday had a lot of strong, excellent matches and cards. Friday had not only the G1, we had Rampage, we had SmackDown, and we had a Ring of Honor pay-per-view all on one day, one night. Holy shit, let's start with the G1 on Friday the 21st. These matches I truly feel are must-see, and it was pretty much half of the card on this G1 night. I think this was night 5, if I'm recalling. Sanada, Yoda Tsuji, the rematch that they had from a couple months ago. It was solid. It wasn't as good as that match that they had at, I believe it was Sakura Genesis. I can't remember exactly. Or no, it was Dominion, I believe. Dominion, they had their first match. It wasn't as good as that one, but it was still worth checking out. How about Will Ospreay getting a phenomenal match out of Kenta? This was the best Kenta match I've seen in quite some time, probably since the Jon Moxley feud. Also, Shota Umino and Kaito Kiyomiya. My goodness, Kiyomiya is killing it in this tournament so far, the Noah champion. Really looking good in every single match pretty much. This was no exception. And then to round out this G1 on Friday the 21st, Kazuchika Okada and my God, Tai Chi. What a match. This was probably right up there in the top 3 so far of the G1 best matches. This was just hitting hard. Okada has been no shock. Absolutely tremendous in this tournament so far. Let's talk about Rampage real quick. I didn't see much of substance in Rampage except the Royal Rampage, AEW's version of the Royal Rumble. I thought was pretty decent. I liked it. The pace was good. I didn't mind the competitors in the match. I thought all in all it was booked very well. So I would say check that match out if you didn't get a chance. That was last week on Rampage. SmackDown had a match of note, and that was Rey Mysterio against Cameron Grimes against LA Knight against Sheamus. That was that other qualifier match to move on in this mini U.S. title contender tournament. And this week we got Rey Mysterio against Santos Escobar in the finals of this tournament. Decide who takes on Austin Theory next, presumably SmackDown in the next week or two. So let's get into that Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Hopefully you checked out that Mega Rant I did earlier this week. These would be the 3 matches I would say really go out of your way to check out on this show. The 4-way tag title match that Aussie Open won the tag titles for Ring of Honor. Check that match out. Also check out the Ring of Honor World title match between Claudio Castagnoli and Pac. Holy fuck, this match was for a match that was thrown together literally within 48 hours of the pay-per-view. So good. So freaking good. Awesome match. Awesome match. And then the main event of the Ring of Honor pay-per-view was definitely must-see. Willow Nightingale and Athena tore down the house in the first ever Women's Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Oh man, what a good match that was. That covered everything on Friday. Let's move over to Saturday. This was the 22nd. One thing to note on Collision, I thought the main event was all right. It was about 25 minutes of time. They gave it a decent amount of time. I thought it built pretty good. Ricky Starks, Chris Kincaid in there against Darby Allin and CM Punk. That was the main event of Collision. Worth checking out for sure. Sunday didn't have a whole lot going on other than the G1 return with, I believe this was night 6. And we got a barn burner of a match with Tomohiro Ishii and Shingo Takagi. What a freaking match that was. Ishii was on a roll this week. We're going to talk about him in just a moment later in the week. But this was one hell of a match worth checking out. Unfortunately, the rest of this G1 card on Sunday, the 23rd, really wasn't much to it. So that's really the only match I can suggest in the G1 that day. Let's move to Monday, the 24th. Monday Night Raw, I thought was a solid show this week. I really liked the Sami Zayn match with Dominic Mysterio. I thought very, very nice work by both guys. Man, Dominic is really coming into his own, not just from a presence side, charisma, promo, etc., but in the ring, he's really starting to turn a corner, and I'm really digging the work he's doing. And also notable, Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark had another solid match. I really have liked the 2 matches between these 2 gals. And I'll admit, flat out, I am a Zoe Stark mark, folks. So there you go on that one. Let's move over to Tuesday, and the 25th. some more action from the G1 as we had 3 consecutive nights of the G1, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Thursday show, which I have not caught yet. That will be covered on next week's must-see matches. But let me tell you something. Kazuchika Okada and Yoshihashi, maybe a long in the tooth early in the match, but I would say about 10 minutes left on the match time. This freaking match really went into a different overdrive type of thing, and I thought legitimately Yoshihashi was going to beat Okada. Just really great near falls. Yoshihashi was doing stuff that you don't normally see against Okada, like reversing a Rainmaker into his own Rainmaker, for example. One of the best matches I've seen Yoshihashi have, period. And how about the battle of the New Japan champion versus the Noah champion, Sanada against Kaito Kiyomiya. Wow, what can you say about this? This match literally went to the last seconds of a 20-minute time limit, and literally 2 seconds before the match ended, Sanada got the win. Oh my God, what a match. This was phenomenal. And the location really worked too at Korakuen Hall, where they had 2 nights on Tuesday, the 25th, and then also the following day, just yesterday, on the 26th. But we're not done with Tuesday's stuff yet. Let's roll back to Tuesday the 25th. We got through the G1, a couple matches there to note, but how about on NXT, the main event? Lyra Valkyria against Rhea Ripley. I'm just going to say it. I did not expect or even have the slightest idea that this match would be hitting hard, but it sure was. Rhea Ripley made Lyra Valkyria look like $1 million in this match. The crowd was really electric for this match as well. Hopefully this elevates Valkyria in the future with this performance in there with Rhea Ripley, which was just so good. Then we move to the final day of this week, Wednesday, the 26th of July. And once again, G1 action from Korakuen Hall for the second night in a row. This night was really good. I think the 5th night and then this night, which I believe would be night 8, were, in my opinion, the 2 best nights so far with G1. We had Zack Sabre Jr. and Jeff Cobb tearing it up in the main event. That was a great main event. Probably the best match I believe that they have had so far in their kind of short little program that they've had this year in New Japan. And then there was also a handful of matches that I think you should check out because there was circumstances in these matches that made them very competitive with some surprise finishes as well. This includes Shingo Takagi, Mikey Nichols, Tama Tonga, Dave Finlay, and Tetsuya Naito and Shane Bates. All worth checking out at the G1 on night 8. And then to round it all off, perhaps the best match of the week, Tomohiro Ishii in there against Eddie Kingston. Oh, dear God, you got to check this match out. It was a chop battle to be fucking seen. So physical. Strong style was the name of the game in this match. It was all the way physical from start to finish. Really and truly, please do yourself a favor. Check this match out. You will not be disappointed at all. And then to round out this week's list, I got one match from Dynamite of note, and that would be Darby Allin and Swerve Strickland. These two have worked a multitude of matches in the past against each other, and it showed for sure. I particularly liked the arcing turn that they did with AR Fox on Dynamite. That was something else. One other note about Dynamite. On the flip side, maybe one of the worst matches of the year on TV was on Dynamite last night, and that was the Taya Valkyrie and Britt Baker match. I don't know what the fuck was going on with this match. Then on top of it, after unquestionably, I would say, one of the worst TV matches for the women in AEW history, the camera zooms in to a sign that says book the women's division, better. And they held that zoom on that sign for a good 4 or 5 seconds. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but it was justified. That match was terrible. I don't know if that's the company letting us know that, yeah, we know what we need to do. I think it was unintentional by the production staff. We thought it was a positive sign on the women's division, but it was far from that. And it made TV in a big way. So that was an interesting take. On the flip side of the best matches, one of the worst matches of the year on Dynamite. And from two competitors I wouldn't expect in Taya Valkyrie and Britt Baker, no question about it. So looking back at the week, we have a long, really long list this week, maybe one of the longest lists ever that we've done so far in midweek must-see matches. Just to break it down, maybe some of the must-see matches, I would say the top 3 must-see matches you're going to want to check out. Eddie Kingston, Tomohiro Ishii, no question about that. You're also probably going to want to get a look at Okada and Taichi. That also was just unbelievable. And then probably for a third, this is the New Japan mark in me, but Ishii and Shingo Takagi this week. Oh man, there's just so much good stuff with the G-1 that came through this past week. I gotta suggest those 3 above the rest. But with that said, all these other matches are on this list for a reason. I feel like really everything on this list is must-see if you have the time. Check them all out. All right, coming up next, retrospective. This Day in Wrestling, July 27th. Check it out. Come on, right back. Right, Wrestling.